block of O Street between 8th and 9?
There's already a cutout
It's already a cut.
there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hi, Susan. Capital Bike Share is so popular, even for tourists. People come here visiting the city.
Yeah.
Why can't the hotel put in a station?
Yes.
Even on the street, not on the sidewalk.
You have to talk to the hotel about it. It is, we've looked into it and it is quite expensive. The city is not paying for those bike shares, the property owners are. So at this point, we've talked to the city about putting it across the street from the
Okay.
library.
Okay.
Was there a final question?
I assume the valet cars will be parked in the giant parking lot?
No, actually, the cars are parked below grade. There's a separate parking for the hotel.
But in that
There's
same
50
complex?
spaces, huh?
It will not be parked on the street?
No, they'll be parked on T1 level.
Thank you. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Unanimous? Thank you very much. Moving on to 216 N Street Northwest. Is a representative?
Okay, so is anyone here from N Street, the 200 block of N Street? No, okay. So this is why I was looking,
Yes.
okay, all right, so this is a little bit last minute. So right before I came here, I had a call off Miss Moore, who is the resident of 216 N Street. Because there's a little bit of background, I found this has been all day with DDOT. What this is about is one of my residents on the 200 block of N Street has requested a handicap space on the street. You know, these signs have gone up.
There's already one there.
I know, yep. So the concern came to me, she wanted to be on the agenda, fine. And I thought it was kind of odd because we've never had discussed this before about a handicap spot. I said, fine, Ms. Noor, no problem. Are you familiar with what I do in the community? I put the word out, I get feedback. Well, today, all day with DDOT, we went back and forth about how this process really works. Apparently, we were given notice on June 4th. Do you remember? So,
ANC?
correct. Something was mailed to the ANC on June 4th, and apparently the process, how it works, is that a 30-day, she goes through doctor's notices and et cetera with DDOT, and they come out and they approve it, and then it goes back to the ANC, and then we can put a word out for 30 days notice. Like go back to my constituents and say, how do y'all think about this? Well, that was June 4th, and that time has now passed. So did we ever receive anything? So what DDOT has told me is that we did receive something. And so for every sort of handicap spot, and there's another one on 5th Street, that we should have received something. So here's what I'm gonna say to you. I apologize, and what I'm gonna do with DDOT is they're gonna come out and reevaluate the entire situation. They know about what my constituents feel. That said, the signs are already on order. So do you have any sort of feedback?
I've never found there to be a parking issue.
Okay.
In the block, there is the new school, but during peak, maybe on Sundays it is much more packed, but other than that, I've not noticed any parking spots. A lot of the houses also behind there do have parking individual spots. So is this different from the handicap spot that's already there?
Correct, so this would be a second handicap spot.
Could they put them, would it be able, I can't picture exactly the spacing, is 216 next to the one that's already there?
No, it's 3 houses down.
So it'd be like, there'd be handicap, open space handicap?
Correct.
I
And
don't
it can
see
be,
it
it's
here.
not reserved for that particular person.
It is reserved for that particular
So
person.
no one else with
Correct.
handicap plates
That's right. So
can
why?
park there.
That's right. And so why this is very important for the street and residents, I've gotten negative feedback that they did not want this person to have this spot because parking is so tight. You have the Dunbar stuff, all that.
It's tight, if you
Yep.
go at 11 o'clock during the day, it's very tight. Then there are certain hours late
Yep.
at night that is, but there is definitely tightness.
Yeah, so moving forward, I'm gonna ask that single member district members are informed that not go to the chair because I would have certainly gone to you guys, because now it is basically too late. So, I said, please come out and reevaluate it. I'm gonna be talking to Ms. Moore and all the residents that came to me with their concern tomorrow morning. So, because it is, you would never think one parking space would be a big deal. It is a big deal.
Especially with the new football arena. I think that's
Exactly.
gonna be-
So I apologize to you and all the rest of my constituents that we cannot take any action as a commission. It's pretty much done. So,
Rochelle,
There you
can
go.
I ask you a question?
Sure.
It is my understanding through the grapevine that this house, 216, whatever it is on Zillow for sale. Now, if the house is for sale, why are we
So-
allowing a special handicap parking space for the woman who lives
I
there?
spoke to Ms. Moore about that also, because there was some concern. That's, she said she was going out there just to see what her home was of value. That's her, what she can do. That, for DDOT, that is irrelevant. So, that does not matter to them. They deal privately with, is this person handicapped? We cannot ask about that. They approve that, but if it, it could sell tomorrow. It could sell 2 years from now. That is not DDOT's concern.
I think that house also, I'm speculating because I have seen the listing sheet for it, there is room for some type of place to even, there is a way, I believe, for parking in the back, I'm not sure, I'm not sure if they're above or below, but I do.
She's got the big brick, the big wall in the back.
Okay, I couldn't picture which is which.
Yeah, so, ideally break down the wall, but I don't know what's behind the wall. So, to wrap this up, it's a little bit of a sad situation for the 200 block of Venn Street. It's a very tense issue. And so moving forward, I'm gonna have them come out and reevaluate, but more than likely, that resident will get her spot.
Rochelle, on the sign, it has a sticker on it, the same number on the sticker like you tag in your car.
Yeah.
She don't want to park there.
Correct.
The battery park is $200 ticket.
That's right.
So,
She's gonna park there.
so when she move, once they take that sign down, it's back open.
Well, she might still be there for the next 20 years, we don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter where she moves tomorrow or two years from now, that's irrelevant. So, but I'm saying this is, any sort of parking is very contentious for this block, and as soon as I put it out there, I immediately got feedback, so. So that said, anytime that we, please check the mailbox, please open it, because this could have been handled a lot differently.
Question, what happens if the property is sold, the person living in that space, is she in a handicap space?
We can take the signs down. Yeah, signs go down.
So
Yeah.
plus one, minus one.
That's right. Well, and this block is where we have requested resident-only parking, which is a whole nother story. The end.
If they can, just because they've ordered the sign, what does it mean they have to use them?
It is more than likely going to be installed.
Okay.
This will add a very, very long conversation. This is all day with DDOT today over this one parking space. And Ms. Moore said, don't come, Ms. Moore, we're not gonna take any action.
So just to be clear, we get notices from different district government agencies of proposed actions every day. There's no reason that we would not have acted on this if it had been received. I also get word from applicants about actions and applications that have been filed that I have to ask the agencies to send us a copy of because they fail to, or sometimes they use the wrong address. ANC 2C, which is now downtown, still gets mail from Abra at our PO box. And I've asked them multiple times to change that address. So don't presume that there was any intentional desire to inflict a special type of parking restriction on any of your constituents, Commissioner
No, I don't think it's intentional. I just think that this was back on June 4th, and then there was another sign that appeared on the 1300 block of Fifth Street. We just kind of go, "Oh, okay." I had no idea that there was a 30-day comment period at all, because the Fifth Street sign appeared about 2 months ago, and I was like, oh.
Longer than that.
So
Is that, yeah, so that was like, oh, okay.
So our commission has never received an application of this type.
So I'll go back to DDOT and tell them that.
Make
But-
sure they've got the address right.
But Marge can also check the box too, because she's got a key. So, I'm just saying.
Yeah, we check it at least
On
weekly.
on N Street.
So moving on to 440 K Street Northwest. This
Okay,
is, oops,
Alex,
yeah.
excuse me, before we move on, can we send something that says that we are not in favor of this? And I'm the one person on this commission that never supports parking issues. I mean, I'm like, you should get rid of your cars and everything else. But
No.
can we express our opinion to be,
Nope.
Great Weight has some things that we have to look at, and I know we're gonna be discussing this later on, but can we send a letter saying that we are uncomfortable or unhappy with this decision, as we did not receive something 30 days in advance, and we did not get the opportunity to have a public discussion of it, and that we would like to be able to have that happen before this is approved by
Okay,
DDOT.
Marge, they're gonna say that he sent that notice out.
I don't
and
care what he
it's
says, he's
be-
gonna have to show us.
But it's already in the process,
I don't care.
so.
I
The
think this-
process doesn't mean anything if you don't challenge the process. You know, then
Well-
everything happens without,
He sent it to
Drawing
our
no
mailbox.
reason.
It's
June
worth,
4th.
it's worth raising the objection, because we're not the first ANC to ever not have been notified of something.
Then what
and
about the other
In
one,
some
then?
cases, things can be reversed. So I would encourage you to go ahead and make a motion if you do, and I will.
Well, but what are we, the problem is, what are the objections is what our notice or the actual parking? Because we cannot object because she's selling her house. We cannot
Lack
object
of
because
notice.
people think that she might not be handicapped, all et cetera, et cetera. That is determined by DDOT. And so it is very legalese with these handicap parking spaces. So what is the objection is what?
Lack of notice.
first of all, lack of notice to this A&C, which is inconsiderate. And
But that's
the application should have been presented to this A&C with all the documentation that shows. When I go and get my handicap parking placard and plates, I have to provide x-rays, letters from doctors, all sorts of stuff in order to get and keep my designation. I can't go down and register my car just because. I have to go down with paperwork. So I think that we're not asking for something outrageous by asking for, A, let us see the proof, and B, let's follow the procedure correctly.
Okay, so Mark, let me read the email you sent. This is from Mr. Patterson. Notice of intent, et cetera, number, was issued on June 4th to the chair of the ANC and to the office of the Secretary Council. We did not receive any comments during the 30-day period. So as a result, submitted work for details of the sign installation is starting. So
I'm guessing it was sent to 2C.
I'm
and
guessing it
not
was
to
sent to our
6E.
mailbox. But I will double check with Mr. Patterson.
I'd like to know what A&C was, they sent it to.
And
We've
we
had-
should ask for proof of mailing,
Yes.
because many agencies use certified mail return receipt requested, and if this was the case, then they won't have a receipt because it was never delivered.
So but where was the Fifth Street one? I mean, that's another one that just,
We have
frankly,
never-
across the street from the Fifth Street
We,
one.
again, I will repeat, we have never, in the time that I've been the chair, received an application of this type.
All right,
I don't know where
I'll
Mr.
motion
Patterson is
for-
sending them, but it hasn't been coming to
So-
us.
Well, you don't have to do it. Alex, as the chair, can submit our comments saying that, A, we didn't receive this, B, we'd like to receive it and we'd like to have a public
Period, public
period,
comment. period.
comment period before it is issued or not
Installed.
issued. That's all I'm saying.
Go ahead.
Did you want to move that Advisory Neighborhood Commission 6E, communicate the commission's concern related to the on-street physically disabled parking space request for 216 N Street Northwest, specifically lack of notice, and that we request the opportunity to receive the application and opine on the case before the signs are installed.
And can we throw, what's the 13er block of Fifth Street, because I've gotten feedback about that one too, and the signs went up already, I mean, I get the feedback.
Do you know when those signs went up?
Do you know the address?
4 or 5 months ago.
4 months, so about 4
Well, why
months.
don't we?
Do you know the
what-
address?
It's a 1300 block.
1300 block, maybe 1330.
I can check, I can find
Okay,
out.
so
Maybe we should send for
we'll,
both of them.
we'll add the address of the parking space on the 1300 block of Fifth Street to that
And
as
then
well.
I've got another
And then
one
we can
apparently on M Street that's coming, I don't know.
That hasn't shown up in our box either. They have never sent us a single one of these applications, and I'm surprised that Mr. Patterson would suggest that I was unresponsive to him, because we're in regular communication about parking issues in this neighborhood.
All right.
So, I would ask for a second.
For you to send a letter?
Yes.
I will second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. 440 K Street Northwest. Applicants. This is a new retailer's class CT Tavern license for Grand Kata Vino Bar and Market. Some folks may recall that there was a previous Class A application for a business with the same name. So this Class A application was mishandled by our friends at Abra. And they failed to accurately determine that there were licensees of the same class within 400 feet. And as a result, the applicants have modified their business plan and their application, and they're here to seek the commission's support.
Hello everybody, my name is Julio Robledo. I'm the owner of Gran Cata, the Latino wine bar that we would like to be in 440 K Street, and I'm here to request the support of the board. Basically, we're gonna be a wine bar which is gonna feature through the food and the wine, the heritage and culture of the Latino culture of Latin America. We're thinking to have around 25 wine by the glass, but in a small menu, a small plate with 20 items. As well, we're gonna have a small market, or mercadito. We will feature in different spices and food and olive oil from Latin America. As well, the idea of the place is to have a small private room so we can host any event, private events as well. I don't know if the board has any question or if you guys have any questions, but this is the idea that we're going to have.
So this is in Commissioner Maceda's single-member district. There were a number of issues that were raised at the ABC licensing committee meeting, and I'd like to go through those first. Number one, we wanted to ensure that there would be a voluntary settlement agreement that would be signed by the applicants addressing the normal concerns that this commission expresses related to operations in the Mount Vernon Triangle, and we're grateful for your agreement to do so. There was a concern that I raised to your attorneys today when I noticed that there was a request for a dancing endorsement as well as a cover charge endorsement. And the reason that is of concern is because those of you that have been longtime district residents remember back in the 1990s and somewhat into the first decade of this century, there was a tendency on the part of restaurants in certain parts of the city to, at 9 or 10 o'clock, roll up the tables and create a dance floor, and all of a sudden you had a nightclub in what was a restaurant. And that's one of the reasons why in most cases we have not supported dancing endorsements at least in the former 2C area of 6E. And the response that I received from the applicants was that they were willing to remove that from their application. They had a question about the ability to give Latin dance classes without a dancing endorsement. And I did check with ABRA today, and ABRA says that without a dancing endorsement, they can't do that. But what ABRA suggested was, since I mentioned our past concern, is that if we do agree to allow them to have the dancing endorsement so they could have those classes, that we put a restriction on hours. So for example, no dancing after 10 p.m. So at that point, you're not going to have anybody turning the restaurant into a nightclub, because who goes dancing before 10 p.m.? At least I know I don't. But again, that is something that just came up this afternoon, so we need to have Commissioner Maceda address that as well. If the preference is to not have any dancing endorsement at all, then by all means, then that's what we will put in the agreement, and that's what shall be entered into. And the provision for cover charges was to be able to charge for live music. Is that correct? So the ABC Licensing Committee did vote to support this application. And I will now turn to Commissioner Maceda for additional comments before we go to the audience.
Number one, this is just a comment. After you were not supported for your first application, I'm extremely disappointed that you didn't feel that you had to bring to me as the commissioner your new proposal. I found out about it in a roundabout way, and that made me very upset. I deal with every single one of my restaurants in my area, and I have never had a problem getting an agreement or getting anything worked out prior to them coming to this meeting. So I am extremely disappointed and feel that you didn't handle that real well. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm curious to know, you're inside of a new residential building where people are paying over $4,000 a month to live there. Have you had any kind of meetings with the tenants of that building with regards to dancing, this whole cover charge thing, music? I mean, this is their home. I realize you're on the first level, but you've got a lot of people in that building that have to be respected.
No, absolutely, and that's why we're gonna sign the agreement, and we've been working with the leasing agent. They are really tough with any kind of that problem. But we don't wanna. I mean, we're not gonna. Live music will be just an acoustic guitar once a month, maybe. We just wanna have the option to do that, but probably no cover, no big bands, and dancing will be a maybe.
My problem with that is once we say yes, then you can go under any hours that the city has given that license for, not the hours that you stated that you're going to be open for business.
And that's why we can sign the agreement. I think it could be helpful.
Seems to me that if the potential for dancing and disruptive noise to the residents is a concern that's been expressed to you, then we should stipulate that those activities will not be allowed.
Yeah,
It's the commission's discretion, not to support those endorsements. Is that your recommendation?
I would tend to say that there should be no dancing and no entertainment. And on the opposite side of that, even if we did, what is your security plan? I mean, between the cloakroom and other facilities in that block, cloakroom has 3 or 4 security people. If you're doing this and the people are coming out at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, this is a residential area. The residents are so afraid of the noise that's going to be coming at the end of the night that...
It's a wine bar. It's going to be a wine bar. No, it's a small restaurant.
So it sounds like what's most prudent to do is to stipulate that that we do not support the dancing and the cover charge endorsements.
What are you going to do about parking?
We can buy.
I mean, are you planning on people arriving and you said something about a special events room.
No. That's the outdoor parking. I mean, we have not considered any other parking ability right now. We can discuss that later on, but we haven't considered anything yet.
In your special event room, how many people can be seated?
For 10 people in 10 people sitting in the private room. Because it's small. I mean, it's gonna be a small wine bar. We are probably gonna be like 40 seats, no more than that.
In the whole place?
Yes.
So the original application that I got from Abra for 199.
No, that's wrong.
So I also discussed that with the attorney for the applicant, and that was not the actual number that they intend to have, and their CFO won't have that kind of a capacity. But that there is a check off for 0 to 199, and Abra took 199 as the number.
Well, that's what they sent me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that what I received was 199, seating for 199, and that's what prompted me to, when you had the meeting last week, to bring that up.
Yeah, Abra has not been doing a very good job with this particular applicant
No.
on any level.
Well, I would,
But the other thing is, in terms of parking, we do have a valet zone on the block, so, we could stipulate that valet parking needs to be provided.
I don't need to, I mean, people will get there on their own, it's only
Okay.
a couple blocks from Metro.
Just looking for
cloakroom.
mediation opportunities,
Yeah, no, I
mitigation
mean, I was just
opportunities.
asking that question since they don't have any means, unless Burke and Wilkes Company has offered you parking underneath the building? Have they? No? Okay. As long as we can come to an agreement, I would support the application, but we have to come to an agreement.
Absolutely.
So would you like me to go ahead and make a motion, or do you want to make the motion?
Either way, okay.
I move that Advisory Neighborhood Commission 6E support the new retailers Class C T license for Gran Catavino Bar and Market, contingent on the applicant signing an agreement that will specify a number of issues related to their operations, including the fact that they will not continue to pursue the dancing and cover charge endorsements, and that our support for the application be communicated to the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board and the Alcoholic Beverage Regulatory Administration. And I would ask for a second.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the part of the commission? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We have one abstention, and the ayes have it. Thank you very much. Moving on to 1550 7th Street Northwest. Do we have a representative for Bowtie here?
While you're coming up, Julio, before you leave this evening, could I give you a copy of the proposed agreement?
So this is an application for a new Class C restaurant license for the new larger Bowtie location. Many of you are familiar with their operation at New Jersey Avenue and R Street Northwest, which is also in our jurisdiction. But this is in the new Jefferson Marketplace development. It's on the northwest corner of 7th and P Streets Northwest.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Stephen Whalen. I'm from the Veritas Law Firm here on behalf of Bowtie. One of the owners was hoping to come here tonight, but was not able to make it because he's out of town. But my office has been working with the chair on an agreement, and I believe they've reached an agreement. Just by way of background, for anyone who's not familiar with the other two Bowtie locations, as the chair mentioned, there's another one in this ANC district. There's also one in Mount Pleasant. It's a community-based Thai restaurant. Their hours of operation are just Monday through Thursday. They're open from 11 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. With a small break in the middle of the day between the lunch and dinner crowds. Friday and Saturday from 11 to 11, and then Sunday from 11 to 11:30. It's a relatively small space, but I guess larger than the other space in the district. There's a max seating of 99 and a total occupancy of 120. We're asking for an endorsement for a sidewalk cafe. The cafe seating would be for 24 seats. I'd be happy to take any questions.
So the issues that we needed to negotiate were related to the outdoor seating. We've established a standard to avoid the types of issues that other parts of the city have had with establishments that have outdoor seating. So those standards are, number one, that there's no music to be played in the outdoor cafes at any time. And number two is that seating and service in the outdoor cafes ends at midnight, 7 days a week. So that's what we've been asking all applicants in the area to abide by, and very grateful for the owners of Bowtie for their agreement, which they have already signed, pending the approval of the commission this evening.
Could you repeat the hours that you'll be serving alcohol?
Well, the restaurant itself is only open until 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 10:30 on all other days, and so alcoholic sales would not obviously be beyond that point, and they don't end any earlier though.
And your opening hours. For some reason, I heard a rumor, and I just want to clarify. You would be open at 8 a.m. or 8:30 a.m.?
On the application, they're capable of being open that early, but they're only planning on being open consistent with all their other locations, which is 11 a.m.
so that, can we, I mean, I think having alcohol served at 8 o'clock, or even being given that right, is questionable. We have enough problems with alcohol and alcohol-related incidents. I'm just wondering whether there can be some stipulation that, 8 o'clock not be an acceptable time? I don't
So
know.
the reason for that is you're probably familiar with, international events like the World Cup, where folks come out sometimes very early in the morning to be able to see those games that are being televised. And on those rare occasions where there is such an event that would cause them to open earlier, then they'd like to be able to have the opportunity to offer folks a beer to go with whatever they're eating.
There
So-
are stipulations with ABRA that if you are looking, like for Inauguration Day or for other days where you can have a special agreement to do that, that's fine. But I don't see 8 o'clock a.m. every day of the week as being necessary.
We've never had anyone open at 8 a.m. There have been some folks that have expressed interest in doing coffee service or serving breakfast at that hour, and if they wanted to have a brunch with the mimosas, I mean, I think that's certainly
I'm not questioning
consistent.
anything like after 11 a.m. It was my understanding that this place was going to be able to be open at 8 a.m. and serve alcohol. And I kind of object to that.
And most establishments ask for maximum hours, so for example, if you actually look at Gran Cata's application that we just looked at, they're proposing that they can be open and serve, not that they will, at 8 a.m., Sunday through Thursday.
And this isn't this is a new restaurant, certainly a new location, but this isn't a restaurant that's, this has been already open in the district for many years, and they've already built a business model, and it doesn't rely certainly on being open and serving alcohol at 8 in the morning. They just want that ability when there is a special event like the chair mentioned. But like I said, it's not even open before 11 a.m. and has no plans to be open before 11 a.m. with any regularity, certainly.
Any other questions? Mary?
I read the information, matter of fact, I took note, and for some reason I don't have it with me. And what I read, it will be from